great to see you, Chuck Fleischman, as we add the voice of Senator Shelley Capito, another Republican member here with the idea of rescissions coming up very quickly here from West Virginia. Senator, it's great to see you back on Bloomberg TV and radio. We were just discussing this $9 billion+ rescissions package. Will it pass?
Well, I think we're going to be considering it next week. We are now looking at the details of the rescission package. It's a $9 billion package, mostly USAID, but also Corporation for Public Broadcasting. And we may make some adjustments there in terms of where we think this may have gone too far in some cases. And so we're in the process of that right now.
Well, and will the end result of that process, Senator, risk being that Democrats do not find themselves ultra willing for a bipartisan compromise on appropriations, on keeping the government funded beyond September 30th, because they know there's always a risk that funding gets rescinded?
Well, I think that the Democrats are certainly making that argument. I think basically the overwhelming opinion across the country and what President Trump campaigned on is that the USAID money, much of it, and this is not cutting all of it, of course, but much of it is used for ways that are really not benefiting global health and others that it's advertised for. And also the fact that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, particularly on the NPR side, has for years been very much a left-leaning organization, and why are we using our taxpayer dollars for this? So these are pretty well-defined areas that the president talked about, so the Democrats shouldn't be surprised by this. We are in appropriations. I just came from my appropriations meeting. It could be a rocky road here, but we did pass 2 bills out of committee, so there's a plus.
Would love to hear a little bit more about that, but I'd also like to ask you first about the president's big, beautiful bill. Senator, I saw some local reporting from West Virginia that you were met by a small band of protesters at not a town hall, but a ribbon-cutting event in Fayetteville, in your home state. Do you have any buyer's remorse for this bill, concerns about changes to Medicaid, or will you tell us that these were Democratic activists and this is the cost of doing business?
Well, you know what? I stopped and talked. We talked 10, 15 minutes before the event. It was opening up a really beautiful bike trail in Fayetteville, West Virginia, so I'd invite visitors to visit it. And, you know, I tried to talk about the facts of the bill. The facts of the bill is every West Virginia taxpayer will not see their taxes go up. Their taxes will actually go down because we increase the standard deduction. We also provide seniors with a tax break, those that are relying on Social Security. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. So this is important for West Virginia. Their main focus was, as you would expect, Medicaid. And basically what I tried to tell them and what I believe and why I do not have buyer's remorse is that I believe in order to preserve Medicaid for future generations, we got to get people off of it that don't deserve to be there, that we have to bend the curve in spending, and we will be spending $200 billion over 10 years, just not $1 trillion. And I really think able-bodied people being able to work some for their benefits. In my view, these are not unreasonable asks. And the thing I'm concerned about is, are these programs going to be there in 10, 20 years? And at the rate of growth, the answer is no. So we need to make sure that this is going to the people that it's intended for and serves their health needs the best. The Rural Stabilization Fund is big in my state because obviously we're very rural in West Virginia. And I think this will help our hospitals that have issues, are going to have some issues with affordability.
Well, and that stabilization fund to the tune, of course, of $50 billion. Do you expect, Senator, that to be adequate, not knowing it's not just West Virginia that is going to need the assistance, but states across the country? Or could there be a need that arises for further subsidies for those hospitals?
Well, I think we need to keep in mind, too, that the changes were made on the provider tax and other things on Medicaid don't go into effect for 3 years. So we've got time to adjust here if, in fact, what you're saying is true. I think what we're going to see is our rural hospitals stronger because they're going to run more efficiently. There's going to be ways through CMS and others to make sure that IT systems and everything are better coordinated. I have confidence that rural health care and rural health care delivery is very difficult, and we've got to preserve every avenue, and that means preserving all the rural hospitals in my state and across the country.
We talked a lot, Senator, about the cuts to subsidies for clean energy. We were just discussing wind and solar with Congressman Chuck Fleischman. What does that mean for West Virginia, and will it create a demand for more coal?
Well, I think what it does is it evens the playing field for every resource or every source of energy supply. It also, I think, boosts nuclear energy. We have all this energy demand through AI and data centers. We can't meet the demand, so we need baseload energy, which wind and solar do not provide. It's ephemeral. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We need that base load, so that's natural gas, coal, nuclear, and there's a hydrogen piece in there that's particularly of interest to me. I asked to move the deadline out just a little bit to see if we can jumpstart a lot of these projects, and I was successful with that. So I think it really just evens the playing field for all energy, all types of energy. And I think it'll be good for my state because we're an energy state.
Senator, I'd like to go back to the subject of appropriations in your seat on the committee. Congressman Fleischman also just told us that he's expecting a short-term continuing resolution is likely going to be required to keep the government funded beyond the end of the fiscal year. Is that also your expectation?
Well, I mean, we wouldn't have to make that decision until the end of September. The Leader Thune, has said with our chair, Chair Collins, and Vice Chair Murray, that we want to have these bills up on the floor. Let's give that a chance to work. I mean, we're running out of time. We only have 7 weeks, but we do have 7 weeks. So hopefully we can have some successes there before I make the declaration that we have to have a continuing resolution. I'd rather see us keep this process moving as much as we can.
All right, Senator, we appreciate your time joining us live from Capitol Hill. Republican Senator Shelley Capito of West Virginia here with us on Bloomberg TV and radio. Thank you so much. And we want to continue